Hello everyone, it's Monday, it's 12:30 and this is my second brand spotlight and I've got my friend Peter Daly Dickson with me today. Hi Peter.
Hey Sapna, how you doing?
All right, anyway, Pete was a former client of mine in a past life and he's also one of my not worker friends as well. So we have karaoke together, haven't we? But today we're going to be talking about your brand. So just first, could you give everyone a bit more of an official introduction
Yeah,
to yourself?
I used to be the CEO of my own software company. That was the one that you did the branding for. That burnt me up and spat me out at the end of 21. I got a blue collar driving job for 2.5 years. And during that time, I realized that what I really am is that 22-year-old version of me that didn't want to get to 40 and wonder what his life would have been like if he'd gone to drama school. I'm an actor, I'm an artist, I'm a producer. And that's what I'm doing now, is recreating, reactivating my artistic life as an actor, and to help others do the same. People who find themselves trapped in jobs or life circumstances make that transition from trading their time for money to being the artist that they know they are in their core. And that's what the Wealthy Artist brand ultimately is about.
Wow. Okay. So before we start looking at visuals, tell me a little bit about what that you're hoping and looking to build.
It's very nascent at the moment. And that was, I think, one of the reasons that I wanted to not take advantage of you, because that would be rude, but to take advantage of the opportunity to have a conversation with you about this, because I've experienced firsthand the genius of your questions and your branding expertise. Ultimately, I want to help people gain the belief and confidence that they can go on the journey that I've gone on. So when I was driving full time, I didn't believe that I could stop doing that and be a full-time actor and producer and all the things. But it was specific things that I did in collaboration and with coaching with other people that allowed me to gain that belief to go on that journey. And I believe that there are many people who feel trapped because they are not expressing the artist that they know is in them, that had an opportunity to be explored when they were younger, but then with societal pressure and familial pressure, no, you've got to get a proper job and you've got to do this and do that. And people whose lives are run by the shoulds rather than the fuck yeah, this is what I really want to do because this is who I know I am. It's helping people live their dream artistic life. Basically, I want there to be more art in the world because I think art will save the world. And an easy way to do that is to enable more artists to create more art.
I think art and creativity is certainly a mark of a civilized society, right?
I would say that it's the thing that creates a civilized society, is that ability for individuals to express their truth through art. The Wealthy Artist is involved in is an organization called Arts in the Workplace, which provides a means for artists to run their workshops in companies around the world at scale. So because I have a foot in both camps, the business world and the artistic world, I want to create this bridge to allow both worlds to benefit from each other.
I absolutely love that. Just so we can define who your target market are, when you say artists, you're not just talking about painters, right? You're talking about people who want to be writers, producers, filmmakers, anything else?
Dancers, painters, writers, somebody who has that creative spark. And ultimately, I think, Sapna, I know that everybody has that creative spark in them. It's just that most people have not had the support and the nurturing and the environment around them for that creativity to be able to be fully expressed. That's the environment that I want to create, that space for people to re-engage with who they really are, basically, which is ultimately a creative being.
Cool. So without any further ado, then I need to get on with looking at your brand. So let's flash up your first. Now you've only got two pieces, so we'll spend a little bit longer on them.
So one is the first is my LinkedIn profile, which I think you've got access to. There we go.
Okay, so brilliant. So this is the Wealthy Artist. Firstly, I'm going to say the name, I really love it. So your name is part of the brand as well. And it absolutely paints a picture of what you do. I like the fact that it's a play on, not a play on words, but a play on the concept of the starving artist.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was definitely in my thinking. Yep.
Yeah, so I got that. We've never had this conversation before. As with all the brand spotlights, I am looking at this brand through fresh eyes. So I love the name because everybody thinks about starving artists and why do we have to equate, making art with being poor? We don't have to. We can actually create a world that we're doing something that we love and making money from it. So big tick on that.
Yeah, just interestingly in that, for me, wealth is far more than just money. I borrow from Ralph Waldo Emerson, who says that health is the first wealth. So there's health, there's healthy relationships, there's spiritual well-being, there's obviously financial wealth in there as well. It's wealth in all its forms.
I think that's beautiful. I think you're right. The word wealth is much wider than, say, the rich artist or the money maker, the profitable
well-paid
artist.
Yeah,
the well-paid artist, or all those other words that we could have used. Wealthy is great, but I would say that probably something that you need to make more of. So that, because when people are looking at your brand, they're just scrolling quite quickly. The wealthy artist is brilliant because it grabs the attention and it breaks the norm. But you've got on your LinkedIn a banner there that you can get quite a lot of information, not too much information because people are still scrolling, but you can expand on the brand proposition with a line of type. You could call it like a strap line or a positioning statement or something like that, that talks about what wealth means to you. If you want to live the life of your dreams, happy, healthy. I'm not saying use these words.
Okay, I like that. Use the banner for that to expand someone's understanding of what wealth is.
Yes, it could just be like almost like a dictionary kind of definition of wealth, but it's like your definition of wealth being, and it's almost like an extra line there. And it doesn't have to be as big, but I think it's quite nice to give people a bit more of a feel of what you're trying to go for and what wealthy means to you, because a lot of people will look at wealth and just go, oh, that's money. But actually it's much more holistic what you're doing and what you're creating. Yeah, exactly. I love the image of you. You're wearing that shirt. You're looking very on brand today. So that's good.
I do own other shirts.
Yeah, I have other superhero t-shirts. Somebody actually said, oh, I thought you just had one. And I was like, I've got about 8 superhero t-shirts, but I tend to wear red when I'm on screen because it brings my brand color into the Zoom room. So that's something that you could also think about, is your Zoom room. And you've got this backdrop that you've created for the wealthy artist with these colors. Is that something that you could do? I'm not really massive fan of these fake green screen effects, but for something like this, could just bring those colors into when you're showing up on screen.
Yeah.
Or a logo overlay just to bring the brand through. So tell me about the imagery. You've got a lion, you've got a paintbrush.
Okay, full confession time. And I don't know if now's a time to go to the second image, which kind of inspired this one, is when I was crystallizing the wealthy artist, I was having a conversation with ChatGPT. I'm sorry, I wasn't talking to a designer. And after about the second or third iteration, it spat this out, this image.
Spat this out, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's one of them. That's not actually the one that you've got on the LinkedIn banner. That's a previous version of it. But that was the original kind of essence of it. And I love the energy about it. I love the fact that the icons alluded to different aspects of artistic expression. You can see their previous iteration of my tagline, break free from your day job and live your dream artistic life. And now I'm tapping far more into my personal mission, which is helping people claim a second chance. That's what I feel I'm doing. I'm having a second chance at a creative career. But just something about the energy in it, which I really liked. And I've just borrowed that for the rest of my branding in inverted commas, because it's really nothing more than taking AI inspired imagery and repurposing it.
So can you go back to the original? Because it feels like that's a completely different logo as well.
Yeah.
We just toggle between them.
I'll find
that one. The type's different. This one feels more like it's been handcrafted, handwritten, hand drawn, should I say? Yeah. Like it's there's still a craftsmanship to it. Whereas if
is that better or worse?
If you go to the other one.
Okay, 1 second. There we go here.
I don't like that one.
No, it's okay. So
it feels a lot cheaper, and it feels a little bit cartoony and comic-y. This one doesn't. And if you see, look at the baseline where the word wealthy is all along, like the base of the letters are all in a straight line. A slight curve, but like they follow a line, and so does artists. Look at the next one.
So there you go. This is it here. This is it here.
So if you actually, is that a different one?
That's a different one, yeah. So that first one I showed you was kind of the first iteration.
Okay, so that's actually a different typeface to the one that I was looking at on the other.
Yeah, so I grabbed the wrong file.
So just as a learning then for people wanting to learn stuff about typography and learn about things that they might be able to apply to their own brand. So if we look at that font there, it's all like on a level, and there you see the letters are a bit more jumpy. The baseline of the letters isn't smooth. They're not all on the same level as if you toggle back between the two. See, there they are. They feel more steady. This one feels a bit more chaotic, which does give it more energy, but it also makes it look a little bit cheaper, a bit more budget, which isn't the right feel for the word wealthy. The fact that it looks handcrafted is great for the word artist here, but if you go back to the other one, that just feels, yes, it's been hand drawn, but more like by a cartoonist.
Yeah.
It feels not much above Comic Sans in terms of that, whereas this one does feel a little bit more grounded, and the line underneath.
My idea was that when I had cash flow, that I would actually engage you to work on it properly. And just let's make sure we got the context of this. This was, I asked ChatGPT specifically to give me a book cover image of what the Wealthy Artist book would be like. And this is what it came up with. And this was the first time where it was like, I see. That's energy. That's the kind of, I don't know.
I completely get the vibe. I'd like to just look at color and imagery very briefly for a couple of minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So with the colors, I love the vibrancy that you've got going on here, as opposed to, I think the colors that you're using on your LinkedIn feel not quite as energetic. Can you go back to your LinkedIn?
Yeah, they're more muted, aren't they?
They are more muted. Now,
yes,
I don't mind which way you want to go. And actually, you could say that this one feels higher end because it's slightly more muted, but they don't have the same energy level at all. So one thing that I would say, especially when you're launching a new brand, is to make sure that you've got consistency, whichever way you go. I quite like the brightness and the optimism of the book jacket. If you go back to that one, I didn't dislike this one, but then when I've seen them both, I think this one has more energy.
Yes.
So I think I would go for it being the same on both. I'm not quite clear on what the lion means, nor
courageous, having the courage to take the step to live your dream life. Yeah.
Okay. And the birds,
a bit too cartoony. Yeah.
Possibly, yeah. I think you're either going with the tools of the trade, like pencils and notes and things like that, or it's starting to look a little bit Disney. The masks, the happy sad masks work as well, because we say that's actors, and I get music producers and I get artists from that imagery. The birds and the lion are taking it slightly Disney Jungle Book territory.
I also recognize that it's conveying different expressions of art, but it's not expressing different versions of wealth. So there could be some imagery there around health and well-being, as well as
that could be something. So I hope that's been useful. I know we've only had a couple of pieces to look at, so there's not an awful lot to work with yet, and it's a very new brand, but just takeaways from that is just be aware of the typeface that you're using, consistency across with colors, and also just think about the imagery, because an image paints 1,000 words. So those images need to actually really work to help get your brand message across and not confuse people, which I think the animals do right now. But I think you've really got a start, and I look forward to working with you in the future on this.
Hey, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now.